And good afternoon. Welcome. I'm Sean Fitzpatrick from Wick Communications. And thank you for joining us for this conversation about poetry, which is a vaccine for pain and suffering. And I'm very pleased to welcome David Hassler from the Wick Poetry Center, who's joining me today. Hi, David.
Hi, Sean. Great to be here with you.
It's a pleasure having you here. And so
over a 2-month period, we led writing workshops with these nurses, faculty, students, and alums to help them make meaning of their profession, give voice to some of the emotional complexity of nursing. And then we scripted it as one large community poem, which actually now lives as a 40-foot mural in the lobby of the College of Nursing building, Henderson Hall. And when this pandemic hit, we thought, why not bring this poem to life with a video reading, inviting other nurses to give voice to this poem, and then to build an interactive website to invite people all around the country to honor the work of our caregivers and nurses and first responders through following some prompts inspired by that poem, Some Days.
Yeah, and it really strikes me, having been around the program and been to some remarkable events, is the way you take it out of the context that people normally have with poetry. That, okay, people may have the vision of somebody sitting on stage doing spoken word poetry with the turtleneck and snapping fingers, or sitting in class and going, oh, well, we've got to learn the poets. But you really do a great job of making this relevant for for a broader audience, and really for people to unpack the value of the poetry. And I want to share a little clip with the viewers here from your conversation with Mary Anthony, and she, for the viewers, she was a participant in the original 2017 project, correct?
Correct, yeah.
And she offers a really nice perspective on, talking about science and poetry and the common language. And you have a really interesting perspective in there. So I'd like to share that with everyone.
But I'm going to read the third stanza from Some Days, because I relate to that in a special way.
At first, my first thought is, well, science and poetry don't really align very well. But on second reflection and deeper sort of reading and understanding, there's so much in the linguistic construction of both that they are not separate, but they really are so common. They have so many common characteristics between them.
Wow.
So thank you.
Thank you, Mary. That makes me think of a beautiful quote from Jane Hirschfield, who curated poems about science for a Poets for Science initiative that we collaborated with her on and building in 2017 for the original March for Science. But Jane Hirschfield said, the microscope and the metaphor are both instruments of discovery. And so she talked about science and poetry are not opposites, but allies.
So it's really interesting, because after I heard the Some Days poem read, that was an aha moment for me, because my previous experience with poetry was very, very dated. And so
David, I think that's just a remarkable observation. A scientist kind of going from, what does this have to do with me, to really being able to uncover a deeper meaning. And you're referencing, the microscope and the metaphor. Can you say a little bit about that?
Well, I do love that quote. And we worked with Jane Hirschfield, a wonderful poet who lives on the West Coast, to create an exhibit, a traveling exhibit called Poets for Science. Jane curated initially 23 poems about science that we designed into 7-foot banners and took to the National Mall in Washington, D.C. for the original March for Science. And now that exhibit has taken on a life of its own. And I think that this idea of the microscope and the metaphor both being instruments of discovery, I think poets and scientists share that passion to have a new lens, to see the world. And ultimately, metaphors are how we say the truth about a very complicated thing, about seeking in language a way to capture a feeling. I